This is Valley News Live at noon.
Good afternoon, I'm Anna Johnson. It's still icy on the roads and blowing snow made morning commutes challenging for drivers in the valley. Let's go to Summer Schnellbach to find out what we could expect for the rest of our Tuesday. Summer?
Good afternoon, Anna, and thank you everyone for joining us for Valley News Live at noon on this Tuesday. Additional snow has been falling today. Here's just a couple of reports that have come in so far. 5.5 inches measured in East Grand Forks, 5.2 in Cormorant, 3.5 in Grand Forks, just under that in Turtle River, little over an inch in Lavinia, or 3 inches I should say, 3 inches in Sabika and Pembina, 2.7 in Moorhead. Here at the station parking lot, I measured 2.25 about 2 hours ago when the snow stopped falling, 2.1 inches in Larimore. Here's a look right now at the Grand Forks Home of Economy Skycam network, where we're continuing to see that snowfall. So we're adding to those totals. Right now, snow is mostly across eastern North Dakota, some light snow remaining up in northwestern Minnesota, but this band starting to shift now to the east. So gear up for more snow here in Fargo and in the Southern Valley, Grand Forks as well. More snow is headed our way. Visibility is still low with that falling snow, under a mile in Grand Forks and in Detroit Lakes. 2 miles in Fergus Falls, under a mile in Oaks, 1 mile visibility in Jamestown and Thief River Falls, little over 1.5 miles up in Hallock. Here's the view right now in Beltrami, right along Minnesota Highway 9, and all through the morning you couldn't even see the road on this Skycam image, but now that the snow has stopped, you can see that those roads are covered. So we're still seeing some tricky travel throughout the day. Even here at the Fargo tri-level, you can see off in the distance visibility is low. So Anna, coming up in just a few minutes, I'll time out your hour-by-hour forecast for when the snow will finally exit. But then we turn to dangerous cold. I'll let you know just how cold we're going to get in the next coming first alert weather days.
Sounds good, Summer. Thank you. The clock is ticking to get snowbirds out of the way of storm cleanup efforts. Plow drivers across the FM Metro have been working nearly non-stop to remove snow from clogged streets, but officials say too many times they're running into cars that were left on the road. That forces plows to swing wide of the obstacle, which leaves a pile of snow in the road. Plus, it forces them to redo that route, and it slows down efforts to cover the entire city. A North Dakota man who killed 4 people at a Mandan business was sentenced today to 4 life prison terms without the possibility of parole. Chad Isaac is convicted of planning the murders of 4 RJR maintenance employees in 2019, but the motive remains unclear. Before learning his fate, Isaac briefly addressed the court, saying that he is not a murderer. One of his lawyers asked the judge to allow for the possibility of parole, but the prosecutor argued that he is a danger to the community, and ultimately the judge agreed. A woman is facing a number of charges following a standoff in South Fargo. Police say she went into a home last night on the 200 block of 21st Street South. A neighbor who was dog watching for the owner said that they found the unknown woman inside. Police say she was impaired and appeared to be suffering from a mental health issue. The incident lasted for about 2 hours. The woman was taken to the emergency room and police have not released her name. With millions of Americans traveling home for the holidays, the CDC is taking steps which could help airlines keep up with their flight schedules. Deborah Alfarone has more details from the White House.
The CDC is shortening the amount of time people have to quarantine after getting COVID.
The data suggests that with Omicron, you're most infectious a day or two before you get sick and for the first day or two after you've gotten sick.
The new guidance allows asymptomatic patients to only isolate for 5 days instead of 10. They should continue to wear a mask for another 5 days around others, and a negative test is not required to end isolation. Some have criticized the decision to not require a negative test.
CDC makes guidance and recommendations in the real world, not the world that we wish existed. And right now, there aren't enough tests.
The airline industry pushed for the changes because it's having problems staffing flights. Several hundred more flights have been canceled today. But the head of the flight attendants union slammed the new guidance, saying if any business pressures a worker to return before they feel better, it will cause much greater disruption than any staffer shortages. Dr. Anthony Fauci, the White House's chief medical advisor, suggested over the weekend that vaccine mandates for airline passengers should be considered. He's now walking back those comments.
Right now, I don't think people should expect that we're going to have a requirement in domestic flights for people to be vaccinated.
Meanwhile, the CDC says it is actively investigating or observing 68 cruise ships following COVID-19 outbreaks on board. Deborah Alfarone, CBS News, the White House.
CDC says it investigates or observes a cruise ship if cases are reported for more than 10% of its passengers or a single crew member in the previous 7 days. Get set to pay even more at the grocery store next year. Many food manufacturers have said they plan to raise prices for a range of items, from coffee to condiments and mustard and mayonnaise. Food prices overall are forecast to rise 5% in the first half of 2020. That's according to research firm IRI. Many staples are expected to be more pricey in part because of high labor, packaging, and shipping costs. The time of gift giving can also turn into a time of gift returns. Next at noon, we have some tips to make that process as easy as possible. But next, summer is back with weather to plan your Tuesday.